was the original idea behind why I wanted to have my own business. If there's a feeling in your heart to do this, follow it. I needed to understand more. And the best way to do that was through taking a course.
Yeah.
Hi, my name's Stephanie, and I am based in Southern California, and my business name is Ouli's Ointment. We make multi-use products for the skin and the home. I began my formulating journey in 2018. I have been a makeup artist for 17 years now, so it's been a while by that point. But I'd also started the brand already in the UK before we moved to LA. And I realized that moving everything from the UK and my limited knowledge on formulating, I needed to understand more. And the best way to do that was through taking a course. So moving my business from the UK to the US really opened my eyes to how different the industries were per country. And I didn't know enough about what it took to run a beauty business because I started it as a makeup artist, seeing a gap in the market and needing to fill it. So I call myself an accidental entrepreneur. My brand Ouli's Ointment was really filling a need that I saw as a makeup artist in the market. All of the packaging had outer packaging. It was either heavy and glass. It had petroleum-based ingredients. And when I was working with people for Fashion Week, models who'd come to me with red, raw faces, I needed a product that would nourish their skin and could stay under makeup and not have to be washed off. So those were the pulls as to why I wanted to create a product. I didn't really know what the product was going to be at first, but with my heritage being Greek and having grown up with family olive groves and my grandmother's use of natural remedies, I knew I needed to incorporate those ingredients in whatever it was I was going to create. And that's where Ouli's Ointment was born. It started with just our tin, our balm, and then it grew into our oil, which is an olla oil, which means all in Greek. And we have a candle, which doubles as a massage candle. So it can be used on the skin too with a very soft, low melt point wax. So prior to studying with Formula Botanica, I had, it had been a real natural path as to how I created the product through beauty PRs that I knew. I got introduced to the right people who were taking their lab in-house. And from there, she really guided me through a process of like getting to understand the textures in what I knew I wanted as a final outcome, but how to get there. So it gave me a taste of it. And then when I decided in 2018 to study with Formula Botanica, it was because I wanted to take that knowledge further. And I had an idea finally for more products. Whereas before I thought it was just going to be the balm. So I knew I really wanted a deeper understanding. I had very specific requirements coming from Greece and ingredients that were inspired by zakynthos, which is in the Ionian. So that isn't something that's very common here in the US either, which made the transition a little more complicated. I work on my brand full time. I just as of 2021 left my agent for makeup. So I am solely focused on my children and my business, which was the original idea behind why I wanted to have my own business so that I didn't have to go to makeup jobs anymore. But it's definitely, it shines a light on how hard being a mother is, because that idea came as I was becoming a mother, and the business came from becoming a mother at the same time. So I never really knew having a business without having children and vice versa. So I definitely set myself up for a challenging path. What's great about having my own brand now and raising my children, I say unconventionally because we homeschool, is that I get to be around for them, which it comes with its pros and cons, but I'm there for everything and I get to choose what's important. And I have a lot of support because I've gotten to pick the people who work for me, and I couldn't run the business without them. So it's definitely amazing to be able to have those choices in life. So really my business plugs into my life. An average day, I find consistency challenging, so it changes every day, but really the ins and outs of the business, coordinating weekly what needs to be done, delegating what I can, which is another challenge of being a founder, can be a little challenging to delegate, but I'm getting good at it. And then being with my children, either taking them to activities if I'm with them, and having the days that I don't focus on the business and know that everything's ticking by, and being able to be with them and our friends and have fun. If someone who is starting their own brand came to me and asked me for advice, I would say, if there's a feeling in your heart to do this, follow it. It's not easy, but you've got to trust your instinct and your intuition and go down the path that is meant for you. And believe and trust that you're always going to be learning. You don't get to a point where, ta-da, you know it all. Our industry is forever changing, and I think that's a positive to it, because it means we get to look at things with fresh eyes always. So jump in. You're not going to have it perfectly packaged at the beginning. So there's no right time to start other than when you feel like it's the time. I studied the diploma in organic skincare formulation. The Formula Botanica community was really helpful because you have the opportunity to communicate with people who are at the same level as you, but also past your level. So you can get feedback on areas that they got through a challenge and how. And I mean, there's so many different ingredients and combinations of formulas that Formula Botanica really makes it simple and easy for you to be able to focus on certain ingredients. But there's so many outcomes that there could be. So getting that support from a community that is going through it or has been through it as well was crucial to my process. Being able to ask the questions I needed and get immediate support, especially when we're all over the world. I think if there's anything I want people to know about Ouli's Ointment, it would be that I'm trying to create a legacy brand, a cult brand that will be one of those brands that kids grow up with and are like, oh yeah, we used to use that all the time, because the ingredients are so simple and effective, and it doesn't have the texture of the usual idea of what an oil or a balm is. It absorbs really well, and it's it's just special. And I hear that from a lot of our customers.